Welcome back for the final video. 10 months, 38 game weeks, 202 videos. It's all come down to this. On a personal note first, huge thank you for watching my content throughout the season. I still read every comment and there's been some absolutely insane ranks from viewers, so I'm glad the videos have helped. It's been a absolutely cracking season on reflection, like winning the Football Content Awards. Who remembers the Focal tattoo at 200,000 subscribers? And then the Focal app as well, just over 200,000 users on the Focal app and website, which is a crazy number when you think about it in its debut season. And then I was going on the FPL show in studio, hanging out with Cielo. Absolutely crazy season. So yeah, thanks so much for your support, and I'm looking forward to finding out what next season brings. So it's the manager highlight for the last time, and heading into Gameweek 38, Guy is top of all the experts with an overall rank of 303rd in the world after scoring 57 points last game week. Did you manage to beat the average score, which was also 57 among the experts? The overall average was 39. So we've got 17 experts in the top 10k heading into the last week. We've got 40 in the top 25k and 62 in the top 50k. Another very successful season, and a massive thank you to all the experts for providing us with 38 game weeks of data to help us benefit from. Gameweek 38 always guarantees goals, that's for sure. On average, there's 20% more goals, which is a lot. And if everything lines up perfectly, there's still massive big swings available to be grabbed. In fact, the last 10 consecutive Gameweek 38s have seen at least one team score 5 or more goals. Where will this year's come from? I think the three that look the most likeliest is Arsenal away to Southampton, Bournemouth home to Leicester, and Newcastle home to Everton. So with that all in mind, which transfers are they making for the finale? First, a look at how many they're making. So one manager is actually rolling. Obviously you can't roll into Game Week 1 next season, by the way, but I mean, if you literally have no transfer to make, then you certainly can roll, given that total transfers is actually a tiebreaker when you're on the same points as another manager. You might not have known that, but to be fair, it's a minimal impact on rank realistically. I mean, there are probably like 10 managers in the world that will miss out on top 10k, for example, just because they've made one extra transfer than someone else. 74% are making one transfer, 22% making two, and one is making three for a -8. Very aggressive for the last week. There are a couple of Gameweek 38 free hits active as well, so we're going to have a look at one of them, see who they've picked as the best possible team for this game week. Let's have a look at the players they're buying and selling then. At the very top, it's Saka, 31% buying the Arsenal mid before they face rock bottom Southampton. As we saw in that earlier slide, in 2 of the last 3 seasons, Arsenal finished in Gameweek 38 scoring 5 goals. Southampton's 84.8 expected goals conceded, by far worst of all teams. No surprise they're rock bottom of the league as a result. So yeah, it could be the fixture that promises goals. 3% are buying Martinelli, 2% buying Odegaard. There are some Arsenal defenders joining their teams as well. We've got White and Kiwior here being picked up. Now Timber's out for Gameweek 38, as is Cielo of course, so yeah, Kiwior's nailed, and we can expect the very attacking Ben White to start in right back. He's the better between him and Kiwior. It has been a difficult season for White with injuries of course, and Timber's been extremely good in fairness, but let's not forget White got 9 goal involvements last season, 182 points. Ideally, you're going to want more attacking transfers to make than defensive ones. Evan Nilsson's the second top transfer, 24% buying the Bournemouth striker for that Leicester home game. Vardy has left the building, they're already relegated. Yeah, this could be the one that promises goals, and he's very reliable for minutes, Evan Nilsson, along with Semenyo, who 19% are buying. Clive less so, but he's being picked up. That places him joint third most bought with Bowen. I mean, maybe we're sleeping on that West Ham fixture as the one that has the source of lots of goals. It is a fixture that could be a goal fest in the context of neither side having anything to play for now. The pressure's off, they can just go out there and enjoy themselves on the final day. And Bowen has returned in his last 5 games in a row, which is the longest streak in the league currently. So De Bruyne is the most sold, 27% getting rid. Sarr, Isak and Saliba joint second with 16% selling. Unfortunately, Saliba's going to miss Gameweek 38, he's out for a few weeks reportedly. Sarr's got Liverpool away as well, and yeah, Isak's fitness is a big question mark right now. He wasn't in the latest batch of Newcastle training photos posted on their website, but we can't rule him out just yet. It's an absolute must win for Newcastle. They could lose on Champions League football right at the end of the season in the final week. So yeah, if they miss out on that, that could carry a cost of tens of millions of pounds. Over the last 6 game weeks, KDB's 4.42 non-penalty XGI is actually best in the league. Obviously owners were extremely unlucky last match as that sitter he missed from a few yards out came back off the bar. We should get some team news and leaks during the deadline stream, so make sure you are subscribed for that if nothing else. If you've got Man City or Liverpool assets, those are the main two that we're likely to get some news on. There's certainly no harm in keeping KDB if we hear that he starts, especially if you've got other fires to put out. So for the final time, countless different chip strategies diverged over the season, but we've all ended up at the same place with all chips used. There's a few free hits, bench boosts and triple captains and even assistant manager active this week. Gary, or FPL Change Names, got his free hit active for Gameweek 38. Let's have a look at his team. I know a fairly small percent of you have got yours active, but regardless, it's quite interesting to see. He's gone Pope in goal, he's gone White, Kivior and Share in defence, Palmer, Kluivert, Gordon, Semenyo and Ødegaard in midfield, Haaland and Evan Nilsson up top, with Areola, Wissa, Bradley and Agbadu on the bench. Here's what he had to say. The differential free hit, a calculated risk for managers playing catch up, having made the bold decision to start the season without the template duo of Salah and Haaland, a choice that proved correct in recent weeks. I've been grinding through a season-long recovery mission. I'm currently sitting just outside the 200k mark, and I'm hunting down those crucial 20 points that should have materialised during the expected double game weeks 36 or 37. Success here would catapult me into the coveted top 200k, a remarkable turnaround considering I was languishing at 6 million after a catastrophic October horror show. The strategy, no template players allowed. This is a team built on differentials, which means no Salah. It's time to separate from the pack. Defensive foundation, Newcastle's clean sheet kings. The Magpies top the clean sheet odds, making Pope and Share, or Burn if you prefer, essential picks. Everton's injury crisis has left them lacking aerial presence, a perfect storm for Newcastle's defence. Arsenal's fortress, the Gunners' defensive credentials remain strong, bringing White and Kivior into focus, with Saliba sidelined through injury. These become premium differential options while others stick with a template. Attacking thrust, Chelsea's final role. Against an increasingly desperate Forest side as the games go on, Palmer gets one last chance to deliver the goods. Gordon's golden opportunity. With Isak doubtful, Newcastle's winger could be set for his breakout moment. The Saka swerve. Ødegaard over Saka. A calculated move when your rivals are all back in the Arsenal wide man. The Bournemouth triple up. The bold move. A three-pronged Bournemouth attack that should be a leaky Leicester defence. Sometimes you have to risk goal for the differential gains. The captain's call. And the armband, it all goes on the most expensive player in the game as a differential pick. It's time for Erling Haaland to justify that eye-watering price tag and deliver when it matters most. Thanks for sending in, Gary. Although it's not been the season you'd hoped, I know you've got some outstanding finishes to your name. Best of luck on the Gameweek 38 free hit. On to Captaincy next, and for the final time this season, here's what they're doing this week. At the very top, it is Salah with 68%. It's quite surprisingly high given his dry spell. 27 goals, 17 assists in the opening 28 game weeks. Since then, 1 goal, 1 assist in 8 games. There are still individual records up for grabs for Salah though. It's another one of those fixtures that could really be a goal fest in the sense that there's nothing on the line. It's a celebration fixture for both teams, like Liverpool are league champions, Crystal Palace are FA Cup champions. I mean, his teammates are probably going to be doing everything in their power to get Salah on the score sheet. Saka is second, 18%, followed by Mbeumo and Watkins with 3%. I mean, motivation levels really could be at an all-time low for Man United in that game against Villa after the Europa League final defeat. Evan Nilsson, surprisingly low as well, genuinely good choice. Only 2 experts going for him. He's very low owned, and he is the perfect differential in many ways if you chase him. Bowen and Haaland with 2 captaincies each as well. Havertz and Isak captained by 1 each. So how do FPL review projections look for Gameweek 38 then? It's Salah top 7.4 points, and then it's Saka 6.7. Kluivert, Evan Nilsson and Semenyo all neck and neck there. We've got Palmer and Mbeumo, Watkins in the top 10 as well. Let's take a look at the closing team of the season then. There's a few changes to the Experts template team for Gameweek 38. It's Raya in goal again. We've got Vardio, Livramento and Kivior in defence. Bowen and Mbeumo, Salah and Saka in midfield. Wissa, Watkins and Evan Nilsson up front. I mean, even the bench is strong. We've got Areola, Rodgers, Konsa and Munoz. It's not far off the best possible team you could throw together really, so a fitting end to the season. Saka joins the team in place of De Bruyne. Evan Nilsson joins in place of Isak, and Bowen replaces Sarr. And lastly, Kivior just about replaces Saliba with 1% higher ownership. How many players have you got from the Experts team? Moving on to Experts' final thoughts and tips for Gameweek 38. A quick thank you first of all to Plan FPL and Premier Fantasy Tools, whose tools were basically instrumental in pulling this series together, and also a shout out to FPL Cooch, who helped set up the form that's used to collect the data from experts each week. So Callum first, he says, I'm very close to getting into the top 25k, so fingers crossed. Great work on the experts videos. It's been good to see what other experts are doing as a sanity check on my own process. FPL Alternative says, sitting just outside the top 10k, and I want to attack this week with 2 free transfers. Top targets are Isak if fit and Gordon, but I cannot get both. I'm likely to bring in Gordon and Mbeumo for De Bruyne and Rodgers. However, if Isak is confirmed starting, I may bring him in and an enabler, Semenyo or Kluivert for De Bruyne and Vardy. We'll have to be sat refreshing X for leaks an hour before the deadline on Sunday. I'm not sure if the newborn and toddler are going to allow that though. Good luck all, here's to a fun end of the season. Amunpal Man says, another season in the books. It's felt like a slog again. I hope everybody enjoys the break and switches off from this silly game. And lastly, Carl Smith says, it's the last dance for us all this week, but a big thank you goes to Oscar for dancing with us every week. And that brings us to the end of FPL videos this season. We are going to be live on Sunday for the final deadline stream, tracking all the early team news leaks and making my final transfer. Thanks again for everything. I hope you absolutely smash it in the final game week and get a big green arrow. See you all on the stream.